What is going on, guys? It's your model of the IWC. Sorry about that. I got a little scratched up at work today. Um, but anyways, I'm here with your Tuesday night Raw review. I am a little behind. Obviously, I told you all that yesterday. I did get a Jimmy Uso video out earlier today. We need to fix that if we're the WWE and the Usos themselves. They need to fix that. But go watch that video for more in depth about that. But this is all about the Monday Night Raw brand. And the Great American Bash will be filmed tomorrow, as I am not going to be watching that tonight, because if you can see, D-Book made it to the playoffs. D-Book made it to the finals. And obviously, if you guys have been following me on Twitter, y'all know my other boy, the big man, Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo made his way into the finals as well. If you guys haven't been living under a rock, you would know that. So I will be watching that a little bit, and then transitioning to the Cardinals game, which starts here at 8:45 here in about 40 minutes. But I did need to get out here and get that Raw review going out for y'all. Man, this show was... I probably won't go on long, this video. I'm going to be honest with you. This show was miserable. I was literally trying to figure anything else to do at every turn during this show. It was miserable. I ordered food. I went and started preparing my food because they brought it to me. And they brought me the food, and then I put it on some extra plates. Was setting up. I really wasn't paying much attention because every time I did pay attention, the show sucked. So if I miss some things, it's whatever. I don't care. Go watch somebody that actually was deeply invested in it. Because this Raw review, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was invested, but I wasn't at the same time. It was a hard show to invest in. This show was miserable, man. Miserable. We started off with Miz and Morrison calling Drew McIntyre out. Drew says he has a love and hate relationship with Money in the Bank because it could give him an opportunity. However, Miz cashed in Money in the Bank on him, and he's been screwed every single time since then. But the thing is, he does not plan on stopping his fight for anything. Drew then talks about the Alamo and how he's a relative of Davy Crockett. I don't know. At this point, the whole first 20 minutes of Raw was just thrown out the... Drew McIntyre, I don't even know what he was talking about. That was the worst promo I think I've ever heard Drew McIntyre say. And that's saying something because Drew McIntyre's had some bad promos. I'm not saying he's bad at promos, but he's had bad promos. And that was by far the worst thing I think I've ever heard Drew McIntyre say, including his 3MB days, including anything that he did when he was out of the company. I don't think I've ever heard something so miserably sounding come out of Drew McIntyre's mouth. That was ridiculous. Drew McIntyre should be ashamed of even allowing them to let him go out there and say some stuff like that. The Alamo and Davy Crockett, really? And how he plans to win Money in the Bank. Then Ricochet came out. Don't really know why. Miz called him irresponsible. Who cares? Riddle came out for some reason. Sat on the top of the ladder. Said it's the Money in the Bank edition of the show. So he thought he'd be sitting on the ladder. He's high and sad that he let his bro Randy down last week. So for Money in the Bank, he is going to be dedicating his performance to Randy. And that once he's done winning, he's going to take Randy Orton out to dinner. And then Miz asks why he hasn't been kicked, why Randy hasn't kicked him in the mouth yet. Then Drew's like, no, he's a really good friend of Randy. And then for some reason, AJ Styles comes out. I don't know. I don't know. I could not keep up with what was happening, man. I don't know what was happening. I don't know why it was happening. I don't know how AJ Styles needed to fit in with Drew McIntyre. I don't know how they ended up coming out with that. Ricochet. Why is he interacting with... I mean, yeah, they're going to be in Money in the Bank, but who really cares? I don't know. Then we get into a match after a brawl that pursued that match. And it was between Morrison and Ricochet. Morrison won. I don't know what else you want me to say. Morrison beat Ricochet. It wasn't anything special. Then we're in the back, and we see Jinder. He says him and Drew are friends. He texted Drew a few weeks ago or a few months ago, asked if he could go ride on bikes together. You want to go ride on some bikes? And he said it took him 3 whole days to respond, and he said, I'm too busy. And instead of spelling out the word two, T-O-O-O, he wrote the number 2, and that now he thinks he's too good for Jinder. And he says that, no, that's not the case, because I've always been better than Drew. No, just no. Just no. You've never been better than Drew. You'll never be better than Drew. It's just not happening. Then we had Nikki Cross go out there. Nikki Ash. My bad. Nikki Hash Brown, so I like to call her. Nia Jax, Shayna, Doudrop, and Eva going up against Alexa, Asuka, Naomi, and Nikki Hash Brown. Eva wins. Who cares? Who cares? Doudrop, failure. Absolute failure. Nia Jax, absolute failure. Eva Marie, massive. If there's a biggest failure in the company, it is Eva Marie. Shayna, I don't want to say failure, but not a success story yet. Hopefully, that's a right thing to say, because I think she could be good if given the right position, on the right brand, on the right situations. Who knows? If they keep doing this with her, and then she ends up leaving the WWE. Her WWE stint will be a failure. Alexa Bliss, failure of a character, not a failure of a. Alexa Bliss is Alexa Bliss. Asuka, she's fine. Naomi, she's fine. Nikki Hash Brown, absolute disgrace. Almost superhero, as they call her. Can she say Raw? Seriously, does she have some superpower to make the show good? Can she utilize that power? Seriously, man. Am I watching? Seriously, am I watching an episode on Disney Channel? Am I watching an episode on Nickelodeon, Disney XD, whatever it might be? Seriously. You know what? She reminds me of the in the Wonder Pets where they had the little animals wear those masks. She reminds me of the one that wore the blue mask, because she's wearing blue, and it's definitely not really well thought out costume. Seriously, man, is that the best you got for Nikki Cross? I don't even know. Eva won the match. Who cares? Then we have MVP. He tells reporter to ask for an appointment with Woods. He said he was asked. Woods asked to have a match, but he said he didn't deserve it, so he declared that it should be a tag team match, and that Bob Lashley has beat Drew and Woods. So this time he's going to be sending the New Day on a permanent vacation. And he's going to shove the words Kofi said last week down Kofi's throat. Then we have Drew McIntyre talk about the Loch Ness Monster. I don't really know what Drew McIntyre was smoking heading into the show. Seriously, man. Davy Crockett, the Alamo, the Loch Ness Monster. Next week he's going to be on there talking about Bigfoot. He's going to be talking about Bigfoot. You're going to start talking about Area 51. Say, Nikki Hash Brown came from Area 51. Seriously. Then 3 weeks from now, he's going to be talking about some random thing. I don't even know. Seriously. What does it have to do with literally anything? Drew McIntyre, man, he has fallen off a steep cliff. I feel so bad for the guy, man. He's just not good anymore. Then we got into Drew versus Jinder. Jinder won technically Drew won via disqualification because Indus ended up laying out Drew McIntyre so that the modern day Maharaja could get the last stand over Drew. Who cares? Seriously, who cares? That's what I was saying about this entire show. Who cares? Then we had Mason T-Bar versus Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik, the Lucha House Party. The Lucha House Party wins Once again, who cares? Then we had Damian Priest and Riddle in the back. Riddle says one time he jumped off a roof and he broke his foot, but it didn't matter because he got back up and he went back up onto that roof and then did it again and landed feet first into the water in the deep end. Priest says injuring himself in a match before Money in the Bank, he could lose an opportunity to be in Money in the Bank, and he wouldn't want to see that happen. It's a smart thing to say, but at the end of the day, Damian Priest isn't in Money in the Bank, so Damian Priest should not be telling him, hey, heads up. Damian Priest should be, I hope you get hurt. I want to be in the match. Not legitimately hurt, but for storyline, he should be like, nah. I'm going to take this guy out. I want to have a spot. I want to have an opportunity, because I haven't been handed an opportunity yet. I'm just been pushed aside. Why isn't Damian Priest fighting for a Money in the Bank spot? Why is he not doing anything? Seriously. We got AJ versus Riddle. I really don't know what this was. AJ and Riddle, you'd think they would have a good match. This was also a train wreck. Riddle won. The Viking Raiders distracted AJ by going after Omos. Who cares? Once again, who cares? And just the whole show was who cares? Literally every single segment. Charlotte and Rhea, same thing. Who cares? They both came out with crutches. Rhea was like, you know what, Charlotte, I did pull some of your tactics. It's just like, I know that, hey, you're not really injured. We don't need these crutches. They're both, after faking injuries, taking forever to walk down to the ring, throw away their crutches and we're perfectly fine. Once again, who cares? Then we got Elias and Cedric Alexander versus Riker and R-Truth. I didn't even watch that. I literally just skipped it. I don't care about it. I don't even want to know who won. I don't want to see the match. I can tell you it lasted less than 2 minutes and 30 seconds because I pressed Zoom for 2 minutes and 30 seconds forward, and the match was done, and I saw Bobby Lashley doing pull-ups in the back. The perks of watching on DVR. You don't have to sit there and watch Elias and Jackson Riker. Then we got into the New Day versus MVP and Bob Lashley. Kofi won. He beat MVP. He pinned MVP. Bob Lashley being protected, obviously. Once again, who really cares? Who really cares? The building up Kofi. MVP is just a guy to help build that notoriety for Kofi going into Money in the Bank against Bobby Lashley. Really, the show was literally, you would have been better off not watching the show. The show was miserable. I literally was trying to figure out anything and everything to do. I'm serious. I was plating food. I was literally trying to do literally anything but watch this show. It was awful. It was an awful show. And that's worrisome. They're back in front of fans soon. What happens when you do this in front of fans? And you got people walking out after the second hour? What happens when you got people sleeping in the crowd? What happens when people boo this show? What happens when people don't react to this show? It's going to look bad. It's going to look bad. Fix it before it's too late. It probably is already too late, to be honest with you, but can we at least put something on that makes the show worth watching? At least on SmackDown, we get Roman Reigns, so we're guaranteed one good segment of the night. But this, man, and that's nothing against Bobby Lashley. I think Bobby Lashley could put on good segments every night, but there wasn't a great segment on tonight's show. There wasn't. Usually Bobby Lashley is the best part of Monday Night Raw. But hey, all he had was a match, and it really wasn't even that great. The show was terrible. There's literally no redeeming qualities. You guys know where to find me on Twitter, GamersGoonYT, Instagram, thegoongameryt. Obviously, here, if you're here already, make sure you click that sub button. Make sure you click that thumbs up and leave a comment down below telling me how bad you thought Raw was. And if you thought Raw was good, I'm sorry. It just wasn't. If you thought it was good and you leave a comment down below, I'm sorry. It just wasn't. It wasn't good. I'm going to get out of here. Bigger and better things to do than talk about Raw. That's simple. Raw was terrible.